Hey folks, welcome back. Today we're going to be tying two patterns. Both of these patterns are going to be eggs, but it's two ways that you can tie eggs that are easier than using traditional egg yarn. Traditional egg yarn for a lot of beginners can be a little fiddly, a little annoying, and when you're getting lopsided eggs, it's pretty discouraging. These take a little bit of the work out of it, make life a little easier for you. So the hooks I'm going to be using a size 14 Allen N304 for both of these. You can use egg hooks, you can use scud hooks, you can use these wet dry hooks. Doesn't matter too much. You can actually use traditional hooks as well. I'm going to be using green here at first just because it'll show up a little better. But I'm going to start the thread about a eye length or so from the eye. And what we're going to do, I'm using some Antron dubbing, but really any synthetic dubbings will work. You want to stay away from the hair type dubbings. You want something synthetic, but this is just a little bit of green Antron dubbing. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make pretty traditional dubbing noodle, and I'm dubbing it pretty heavy. And I'm just going to work that on like normal. But now I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to start pinching and pushing this upwards. And then I'm going to start rolling it around between my fingers. What you're going to see is you're going to start to form a little ball. That's exactly what you want. Now, this little ball does not need to be perfectly round. Okay, once you get that little ball, I'm going to push this right down on top of that hook and kind of hold it and get a thread wrap around. In front, behind, I'll even do a couple around like you would on a parachute post. That can be used as is. That's essentially an egg. However, to make these a little tougher, what I like to do is I'll put quite a few wraps over, around, and through this ball of dubbing and really lock that guy on there. There we go. That's nice and solid. Now what this is essentially going to become is our core. Now I'm going to bring in some more of that dubbing, and this time I'm going to dub much lighter, but I'm going to do another dubbing noodle. And we're not going to ball it this time. We're going to do a normal dubbing application, and then we're just going to dub right around that ball, that core. And what that's going to give you is a nice clean ball with a super tough center. And these bad boys will definitely last you through the day. Then I whip finish right in front of that dubbing ball, trim, and done. Now what I like about this, you can see how this has these little wisps. You want to leave those wisps. Okay, that's one of the reasons I like to use Antron on these. What happens is, as this fly gets wet, these little wisps fold back and hold a lot of water, and this thing will actually look slimy. It will look like an egg, like a fish egg. That's why I like to use this particular type of dubbing for this pattern. But you can see you got a nice round egg, ridiculously easy to tie. Now that we've magically got another hook in the vise, you can see this is another of the Allen N304s, and I've got a small brass bead on there. I'm going to come in with my thread, and I'm going to start my thread right up here at the hook eye. And come back about 2 eye lengths or so, and then push that bead up to it, and then jump that bead and lock it down. Come back up again. Okay, now the material I'm going to be using on the body here is a little different. This is acrylic yarn, the same stuff that you get at Walmart, any big box store, in the craft section for crocheting and all that good stuff. And what I do is I just cut sections of that, and then I just run that between two pet grooming brushes. And what you end up with are these nice long wispy fibers. This makes great winging material and dubbing. This is really great stuff. If you want to see a tutorial on how to make this, let me know. I'll be glad to show you. But I want to get a nice little hank of that material. And I'm just going to pull it and restack it. And this is called carding. There we go. Now this back end here, I'm just going to level those ends up, go ahead and cut them. I'm going to tie this in right up here at the front. And I'm going to kind of pinch it and allow it to go all the way around the hook. We want good coverage. And then I'm going to cut off this excess, tie it down a little bit, and now I'm going to jump my thread back and do big open spirals well down the bend of that hook. And then I'm going to take all this material and I'm going to push it back. Now we need to kind of look, make sure we're getting decent coverage all the way around. And then I'm going to do a couple of loose wraps, just like so. And then I'm going to take all this material, pinch it and push it together. And boom, you get a nice round egg. And then right here at the rear, where the thread is currently, I'm going to go ahead and whip finish. And I'm using a white thread because when you put head cement on this white thread, the thread becomes pretty much the color of the material and it just disappears. So get a little head cement on there, and there we go. So I got this guy wet. You can see that nice, super translucent look. It legit looks slimy. And I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but that bead in the center actually shows through. I think my lighting is a little too bright to really see at the moment. But that bead really shows through. You can use different colored beads in there. But these things just take on that wonderfully, I mean, no pretty way to put it, that nice slimy look. Which is what you want with an egg pattern. So tie some of these up, you won't regret it. They're a lot easier to tie than the traditional egg pattern, and this is what I fish 9 times out of 10 over an actual classic egg pattern. So tie some up, let us know what you think. Please like and subscribe. Tight lines.